Maya Yisbarech. Amen. Amen. Baruch Hu Shemai. Baruch Hu Shemai. Amen. Baruch Hu Shemai. Amen. Atishach Naritach Knayam Siach Tzai Tzai Vekayus Amshar Shemlecha Kasav Ayad Neviyacha V'Kara Zeh Zeh V'Yamai Kadosh 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 Adonai Tzvai Shmulai Chala Haaretz Kvaydai Baruch Kvad Adonai Mimkaimai V'Chadnai L'Hai L'Hai Yachtin L'Dai V'Adai Hallelujah. Baruch Hu Shemai. Amen. 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 Wacht nog zo mij. 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 Amen. Mighty malach nolach. Shout Adonai Eloheinu. Ve'Elohe Yavasheinu. Elohe kol basar. Zainu yait bereisis. V'rachai sveidas. V'shmagado. V'achalas. Avilam gem dano. Karayeinu. Karayeinu v'sach. Zainu lechad k'tzach. V'nasem v'achalish ma'chodacha. V'lasat zanecha. Lefach. V'shalem. Ashianu ma'advach. V'lechlai dais. Wacht nog zo mij. Amen. Wacht nog zo mij. Amen. 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 Yes, my Abba, barach le'olam aliyamei, Almaya yisbarach. Amen. 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 De David had een Aleinu l'shabeach l'adayin ha'kol, l'aseish k'dula l'etzem reishis, shelo yasanu k'yayeretzos, v'lo yishaman l'zivchai sadama, shelo yisamcha chaynu gam, v'gayin aleinu k'chol amaynu, shehem mishachavim l'havav l'alik. Kaidim mishachavim, umadim l'fnei ma'achayim lachem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shonit hashamayim yeshidaret, Masha v'kane b'shmayim u'mal, Shechina asot ebegavim murim, Olayno waynait, Smakayno vavzusay, Kakasim sashay v'daita yem m'shavayim, Shnayilim m'shmayim mal, Dalat l'tachasay, V'yakein l'kavalacha, Dayna yalayayno l'laysmayim, Avusivales zacha, Avigalo l'meina l'sa'alin l'kalasik Sakinai lam b'machashalai, Amnei v'asay yikluv shmcha lam v'shalecha, Ta'atakinu v'yad v'kosh v'zayva, Gilach tichra kol b'alach, V'shava kol ha'shay, V'ayna yikluv v'b'lo v'lech v'achim, Kal jaylo v'kal v'chumalayim v'samach, שים לך עלי מהאלול לבד כמח זך היום תנדח בחווי ככתוב ותש אחד אלוהים לך נאמר ויגל מה לרגל מה יהיה אדוני יחס מה אחד אמן 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 יש מי אבא ברח לי למה לי אמן אמן יש ברך אמן 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 אל תדע מפחד ביסה ומשייך תשעים כצבא יצא צבא דבו דבו עמנואל יצא צבא דבו עמנואל אני ותמני אשבל אני ישישי ואני ישב עמלק אך צדיקים יעידו לשמחה יש לי שיים ושמחה Amen. 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 Yes, my Abba. Barach li elam li amen. Amaya yes barach. Amen. 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 Amen.
Can we get the mechitza down there so that the girls of Emunah can see? No, let's get a move on there over there. Move the mechitza down. Hurry up. There's been a request from the girls department that the boys are blocking and they cannot see the Rebbe. And the Rebbe is actually giving this greeting to the children of the camp. So it would be only nice of you to move aside so that the Kinderlach can see the Rebbe. They waited a whole summer for this moment. Go ahead, a little bit more. Go on sein. Move ahead. As you know, there is a little bit of a difference in the Seder. Will the little boys get off the table there? Right. There's a little difference in the Seder we have since it's Chodesh Elul that we begin today with the Kiyas Shofar, which will be sounded by Rabbi Elio Lipska, the camp rabbi of Camp Gan Israel, and who is from Toronto, Canada. Everybody rise. Children. be seated. We proceed now to the Yud Beis Psukim. Will the girls who are saying the Psukim from Emunah, you'll have to make a row head, let the kids in. Please move back so that the Kinderlach of Emunah can come through here. Okay. Shh. Watch out. Move up. Come through. Wait. Wait in line. Okay. We begin with the Yud Beis Psukim, and the first 6 Psukim will be recited by the children of Camp Emunah. The first is from Tiny Tats Emunah, Torah Tziva by Penina Telvi, who is a student from Public School 203 in Brooklyn.
Torah, Tziva, Lanu, Moshe, Marasha, Kehila, Yaakov.
Thank you. Next year you're going to Beis Rivka, right? Shema Yisroel will now be recited by Miriam Erlichson from the Beis Yaakov of the Bronx.
Shema Yisroel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Thank you. Bechelda will be recited by Leah Kozlovsky from Caracas, Venezuela.
Bechol Dar Vadar Chayav Adam Leros Es Atmo Keilu Hu Yatza Mimitzrayim.
Yeah, I'm glad they gave you good to eat in Camp Emunah. Okay, Kol Yisrael by Chani Horowitz, Beis Rivka of Crown Heights.
Kol Yisroel Yes Lahem Chelek Ma'alam Haba Shenemer Ve'ames Kulam Zadikim La'alam Yeshu Eretz Neitzer Matai Masei Yadai Lehisrael.
That's the real Emunah spirit. Kikorev will now be recited by Sterny Plotkin from the Beis Rivka in Montreal, Canada.
Ki Karai Elecha Hadavar Meis Bificha Avalacha Lasaisai.
Thank you. That's a plus for Montreal. Okay, the Vihine Hashem, the Chamadina Chadikov Hebrew Academy of Long Beach, California.
Vehine Adonai Nisa Alav Amai Chal Haaretz Gevaydai Amavik Alav Avochem Klayos Balev Im Avdav Karoi.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not allowed to say anything. That's my grandchild. Bereshis. Now, wait a minute. There is a little difference. I've informed that in Gan Yisrael, they do it a little differently than we do it in Emunah. They have entire bunks reciting the psukim after their davening. And since this is the final tefillah of this season in camp, they want to maintain the system that they maintained there, and I'm not going to ask them to change. So, the Posik Bereshis will now be recited by the junior division, which are bunks Gimel, through Ches. It's a little different style, but we see how it works this time. Gimel through Ches. That's pretty good, boys. That's not bad at all. Bishinantam by the intermediate division bunks, Tes to Tes Zion. Yeshakaya. Boy, in unity there is strength. Yogaiti by the senior division, bunks Yud Zion to Chaf Beis. All together now. Thank you very much for your Hafta bunks Yud Zion to Chaf Beis. Yud Zion to Chaf Beis. What was that? For your Hafta. Yeshakayach, okay. The Zeh will now be recited by Bunk Yud Gimel of Gan Yisroel. Thank you very much. And finally, Yismach will now be recited by Bunk Yud Tes. Hold it. Okay, I think everybody will agree that today's presentation was really outstanding, and give yourselves a good round of applause. Okay, thank you very much. We now come to the other specialty in today's program, and that is where we have the pleasure of listening to a representative of each camp speak to their children and to all those who are assembled. We call upon I don't know if it's the Emunah girls or the outside people who are making a little tumult back there. It's not the Emunah girls, okay. Okay. I have the pleasure to call upon the head counselor of Camp Gan Yisroel, Harav Levi Yitzchak Abramowitz, who will speak first.
Thank you, Rabbi Hach. Our Chachamim tell us that Hakel Helech Achar Achitum. Everything goes according to the conclusion, the end. We're now at the end of a unique, a special experience, a whole summer spent together as one group in a very special place, Kiryat Gan Yisroel. The name Gan Yisroel reminds us first and foremost of Rabbi Yisroel Baal Shem Tov, who started the Hasidic movement. His birthday is coming up very soon. It will be this next week on Chai Elul, the 18th day of the month of Elul. Among the many teachings which the Baal Shem Tov is famous for, one of his most outstanding achievements was his unlimited, his vast amount of Avos Yisrael that he had for every single Jew, wherever he was and whoever he was. The Baal Shem Tov always would say that every Jew has a secret hidden treasure in him, a neshama. All you have to do is wipe off the dust, dig through the dust to get to that treasure. Once we get through the dust, every single Jew has good midas, good characteristics in him. How did the great tzaddik, the Baal Shem Tov, prepare himself for this great task for all the time he spent on his Avos Yisrael that he gave to every single Jew? Well, it started first by taking care of small children. Every day the Baal Shem Tov would wait and meet the children and take them to yeshiva and then pick them up in the afternoon and bring them back home. He would daven with them, sing with them, make brachas with them, and teach them to be proud of being Jewish. The Mizritcha Magid, one of the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, once said that if all the Jews would kiss the Sefer Torah, alavai, he always would wish that all the Jews should kiss the Sefer Torah like the Baal Shem Tov used to kiss the small Jewish children. The same way, the training for the Jewish children then, we tried to do. Your counselors, the staff members, gave up their time a whole summer for 9 weeks with every single camper in Gan Yisroel. And the name Gan Yisroel also means Garden of Yisroel. Now you all know a garden is not a thing that is built. You don't take a tree and nail it into the ground or glue it into the ground. A garden is planted. The garden is planted with trees and flowers to make us feel happy in the Eibishter's world. There is a difference between a desert, a field, and a city. A city is fully inhabited. There are people living there. A field is not so inhabited. Usually you only have a few farmers living on a field, and they grow food there and crops. And a desert is a wild place where it's empty of people and nothing grows there. The Rebbe Shlita has explained us on many occasions how these three places can be used for us to learn something from them in Ruchnius. A city symbolizes the Torah and mitzvahs that we do every day, which make us fit that Hashem, the King, the Melech Malchi Amlachim, the King of all kings, should rest upon us and live with us. And at the opposite end, we have the desert, referring to the things we say or we do which are not l'shem shemayim. Maybe it might be eating or drinking or sleeping. And the work that Hashem has given to us in this world is to cultivate the desert, to plow the desert into a field, which means land that could be used for human resources. In other words, we have learned while we were in camp to eat, drink, sleep, in the Yiddish way, with brachas, by davening, and of course the learning classes and our Mishnayos Baal Peh, which means that we are actually like a city through our Torah and mitzvahs where the Eibishter can shine on us. Now when does Hashem come into the field and show himself to us? This is during the month of Elul, as everybody already knows. As we know, the famous Melech Basada, when the king is in the field. Out in the country where all of us can come to see him and ask for him what we need. Well, we too have been out in the field, out in the country in Gan Yisroel, the garden of Yisroel, where we have learned to use every part of our lives to serve the Eibishter. We have learned to eat like Yidden, with brachas, only kosher food. Go to sleep like Yidden, with tzitzis, krishma lamit, and waking up with negelvasa. And of course the whole day with davening 3 times a day, learning, and everything else. This is, right here in front of us now, the beautiful garden of Gan Yisroel that we have made to serve the Eibishter in the field. I'm very sure, after speaking to some campers last night and throughout on the trip on the way here this morning, that many of you are going to wake up tomorrow morning a little different than you did the past 9 weeks. It might be a little lump in your throat. Some of you might have tears in your eyes. You're going to look up tomorrow morning and you're going to say, where is the microphone? Where is the reveille? Where's my bunkmate? Where do I line up? You'll be looking for the Cocoa Club. And I'm sure you'll be wanting to Chazan Mishnayos Baal Peh, and you won't know where to turn. And you'll be wondering where are all the beautiful stories of the tzaddikim that you heard and everything that goes with Gan Yisroel. Well, yes, the summer in Gan Yisroel is now over, but the message of Gan Yisroel could carry, it must carry, and it will carry us throughout the years. Even when things may chas v'shalom get tough, a little cold, a little hot, might be stuffy outside in the city life. But as the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. You'll remember exactly everything you learned in Gan Yisroel, especially through the Mishnayos Baal Peh prizes that you'll be seeing. When you look at them, you'll definitely remember all the Mishnayos that you learned. And then, of course, in a few days, it'll soon be Shabbos. You'll go to your regular shuls where you've davened throughout the years. I'm sure that everyone will be tapping their feet and clapping their hands a little bit, like the way we've been doing it for 9 weeks in Gan Yisroel. So to my dear campers and fellow counselors and head counselors and all the staff members, the Gan Yisroel will stay with us throughout the year. When we go to sleep, we will say good night, Gan Yisroel. When we wake up in the morning, it'll be a good morning, Gan Yisroel. And of course, the famous saying, every Shabbos, good Shabbos, Gan Yisroel. This will last us, everything that we have in our minds will last us throughout the next few days, weeks, months, until next year, or even earlier, we get back to Gan Yisroel, in Eretz Yisroel, with the coming of Mashiach now, b'mheira v'yameinu, amen. And I know that everyone is now waiting for progress report number 9, a weekly progress report that we have been going on in camp. So I'm going to close with progress report number 9 now. A total of over 450 gold Mishnayos, Mishnayos Baal Peh gold stars. And, which is very freshly on our minds, I'm sure everyone still remembers it by heart, is the over 130 full prokim of Mishnayos. Each camper chazed a perik at a time, 130 prokim. And now, in the name again of all the counselors, campers, and staff members, the administration, every single camper from Bunk Gimel through Chav Beis, they have asked me that I should wish, in their name, the Rebbe Shlita, Aksiva, V'chsim Teva.
Thank you very much. May I ask again that the young men please move to a side so that the girls of Emunah could see and hear what's going on. It's very unfair to them. And those who have their Kindle sitting on their table, they're blocking children. Just please take them off. Okay, we are now going to call upon the Rabbi of Camp Emunah, Rabbi Alta Ben Sion Metzger, for his message to the girls.
The Torah of Rabbi Yisroel Baal Shem Tov, Zecher Tzadik V'Kolosh Livracha, on the word Anochi has been repeated by the Rebbe Zal Gesundsein countless times and emphasized very much. The Gemara in Shabbos says that the word Anochi is a Roshei Tevos, initials for Ano, Nafshis, Ksavis, Yahavis. And Rabbi Yisroel Baal Shem Tov explains this to mean that the Rabbanu Shalom has given himself, as it were, into the Torah. And when a person learns Torah, he is united with the Rabbanu Shalom. Rashi tells us in the Zos HaBracha, Mimino Eish Slamo, that the Torah is Eish Chayra, Ksuva al Eish Levana, that the Torah of the Rabbanu Shalom is black flame upon white flame. And the Ramban in his Akdama to Breishis writes that Moshe Rabbeinu was Kesefer Matik Mi Sefer Kadmon, that Moshe Rabbeinu was copying his Sefer Torah from an ancient Sefer Torah which was Kadma Leolam, preceded the world 2,000 years, which means that the Rabbanu Shalom himself began Mitzvah Sefer Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu continued it, it extended to this generation, and the Rebbe Zal Gesundsein is continuing these inyanim of the revelation of godliness within this world. The Inyan of Ksivas Sefer Torah is connected with the Inyan of Mitzvah Sfarim. All of us know that the Inyan of Kisu Lachem Es Ashira Hazos, write this song, and Mefarshim explains this means the Inyan of Ksivas Sfarim. When you write Sfarim, it is also in the category like writing a Sefer Torah. And we find that Mitzvah Sfarim, whether the writing of a Sefer Torah or writing Sfarim, extends, is very significant in general and specifically in Chassidus. We find that from the time of Yisroel Baal Shem Tov, that the Ksavim of Adam Baal Shem Tov had to be given over to him, that he could learn the Sodas of Kabbalah. And we find by the Mezitcher Magid that once the Sefer HaYichus was burnt, and his mother was very distressed, and the Mezitcher Magid said that the Yichus would begin with him. And this is very important in terms of Miu Yehudi, that we have to be concerned about the Yichus of Klal Yisroel. But in addition to being concerned with the Yichus of Klal Yisroel, we also have to concern ourselves with beginning our own Yichus. And also as far as the Tzemach Tzedek Zecher Tzadik V'Kolosh Livracha, in addition to the many Sfarim that all the Nesiim wrote, that the Tzemach Tzedek had to go to Peterburg, and he fought with Mesiras Nefesh because of the Haskalah, because they wanted to forbid Sifrei Kodesh, and they wanted to bring in Sifrei Chol to be V'tamei the Machshava, to cause impurity to the Machshava. And all of us know the famous story that once among the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, they looked and they saw that one of the Talmidim had the face of an ox. And this was because his mind was so much concerned about eating. And so in the same way, learning Sifrei Kodesh purifies the mind, irradiates the mind, and other Sfarim, Rachmana litzlan, cause contamination to the mind. And also as far as the Rebbe Marash is concerned, Mitzvah Sfarim does not merely mean purchasing Sfarim. Mitzvah Sfarim means knowing them. And the astonishing story that once the Rebbe Marash came to his father and asked him for money to buy Sfarim, and the Tzemach said, do you know all the Sfarim you have? And the Rebbe Marash said, do you? And he said, take out any sefer from the shelf. And he took out 6 Sfarim, and many of them were Digduk Sfarim, and one of them was Mesilas Yesharim. And wherever he asked the Tzemach Tzedek, he knew Baal Peh everything that was to be found in Sfarim. But Sfarim have to be the union of Tocho Kibaro. And as we find that once the Tzemach Tzedek complained about the people that were always bothering for Meitzes, and the Rebbe Marash took hold of the manuscripts of the Tzemach Tzedek and said, could you have written all of these Svarim without the union of giving Eitzes and Mesiras Nefesh for others? Because Psichas HaMoach, the opening of the mind, is a function of Psichas HaLev. And the Rebbe Marshab, who is the Rambam of Chassidus, as the Rebbe Zolgzinstein always says, Hamasa hu Eikar, the Rebbe Marshab always brought things down and gave Klole Alimut to understand how do you learn Rashi, how do you learn the Rishonim. And of course the Frierdiker Rebbe with the astonishing Mesiras Nefesh of Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tammuz. He was told he was free, he could leave Russia, but he would have to leave his library. And under no circumstances would he leave Russia unless he had his library, because this was Yad Nefesh HaChameh of Yafutzim Einasecha Chutza, of the manuscripts of Chassidus, and because of this he was most nefesh for his library. And the parents of the Rebbe, Zechet Tzadik V'Tzikonis L'Bracha, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Zechet Tzadik V'Tzikonis L'Bracha, who when he was exiled, his wife went into exile with him voluntarily. And she is a shining example for people from Emunah. She went with him, and he wrote his many of his Chedushim there. And as the Rebbe Zolgzinstein said, this is the Indian of Ksishas Hazayis, incredible, insightful, original explanations. And she was the one who provided the ink. She was the one who hated him to write it. And it's a frightening to think about what would have happened, Chas v'Sholem, if she hadn't gone. And in a certain sense, Godla Hama'asa Yosem and Oseh, so that women sometimes can have a very vital role in Ksiva. Rebbe Zolgzinstein, in terms of creating new goals, new levels of aspiration, in terms of Mitzvah Sfarim, the many in Yonim, the new edition of Tanya, and the many other things, and demanding constantly Mitzvah Sfarim, and specifically the union of Ksiva Sefer Torah, because this is a union of Shmira for Klal Yisroel, and we have to extend great effort. All of us know of the terrible things, the miraculous things that have happened till now, but we have not tried hard enough. We have to try harder in the future. And there has been evoked a fantastic response among Gdolei Yisroel, Harav Hagon, Rav Moshe Feinstein, Harav Hagon, Rav Moshe Ben Feine Gittel, Shlitas 11 in Gesundsein. He and his entire family have Osius in the Sefer Torah. And when his son-in-law, Rav Moshe David Tendler, came to Buffalo, he came as a representative of Harav Hagon, Rav Moshe Feinstein, to support the union of Mitzvah Sefer Torah. And he shared a very interesting thought with all of the people in Buffalo. And I am repeating it here because I hope that it will encourage others to buy Osius in the Sefer Torah. He said that when you take a bird and you separate it from its flock, you put it in a laboratory, the bird will begin to fly at the same time that the other birds in its flock begin flying, even though it's closed up in the laboratory. However, the song of the birds, it will not sing. But if you tape songs of different birds and you let this bird hear it, it will not respond to the songs of the other birds, but it will respond to its own song, even if it hears a tape once, and for the rest of its existence it will sing that song. And he said, the Ator Kisvu Lachem Es Ashira Azos. If you take a Jew who's weit from Yiddishkeit, and he has an oath in the Sefer Torah, it is like a bird hearing its own song, and there's an awakening within him of the spark of Yiddishkeit, and this will be mitzvah gereres mitzvah, an awakening of dedication to Torah and mitzvahs. And so we have to intensify our efforts in terms of all the mitzvahs in general, and particularly all of us know what has happened in Lebanon. And the union of Lebanon, there's a pasuk in Tehillim. David HaMelech says, Isvuli Chasidoi, Kor Sevrisi Ale Zovach. And Rashi learns Pshat that the Rebbeinu Shalom said this at Maimon HaSinai, gathered unto me all the Hasidim who go into a bris with the Rebbeinu Shalom by means of Kabbalas and Kabbalas HaTorah. But the Rambam in Hilchos Yisodei HaTorah says that this goes on those who are Moshe Nefesh al Kiddush Hashem. Isvuli Chasidoi, gather unto me my Hasidim, Kor Sevrisi, who enter into a bris Ale Zavach by means of self-sacrifice. In the war in Lebanon, we have seen Rahman al-Islam, Isvuli Chasidoi, Kor Sevrisi Ale Zavach, of young men who were Moshe Nefesh for us, for Klal Yisroel, and we had to try more for Ksiva Sefer Torah in the past and intensify our efforts in the future to frustrate all of the evil thoughts of the Arimu Sod and the Oyev Misnakim. And so we can actually combine the two Pshatim. We can combine the two Pshatim by means of Isuli Chasidoi, to take all Jews and put them into a Sefer Torah, to see that they buy out your Sefer Torah. Kosev Risi Ale Zavach, the Rebbe Zolgzinstein has always said that the union of Mesiras Nefesh does not mean giving of the life, it means the giving over of Ratzon, to dedicate oneself to Yiddishkeit. And so, This mitzvah specifically, and all mitzvahs in general, should be done in the manner of the slogans that we've heard many times. Will all of the people, all the campers in Camp Emunah, repeat the famous slogan, L'chatchila river! Tofeach al manas latfiach! To overcome all of the obstacles, not to be taken aback, and to go forward with courage, and to assume responsibility for Klal Yisroel. And so in conclusion, by means of the union of Chief Associate Sefer Torah, Hashem Tzilcha, like the Medrash Tehillim, that we find that Rabbi Yisroel Baal Shem Tov used to say, God will imitate our actions. It will be Melech Basada. And this today is Yom Shehuch Babil Boki Tov, and next Monday, Chai Elul is Yom Shehuch Boki Tov, the Yom Haledes of Rabbi Yisroel Baal Shem Tov, and the Yom Haledes of the Alter Rebbe. And if there was Seva Panim Yofos and Panim Sachakos before them, after their Torahs, after their explanation, after their inspirational example, there was a greater ha'ara in the Seva Panim Yofos and in the Panim Sachakos. So when we go out to the Sada, we can see an actual Gili Holocaust. And so it should be that the Rabbanu Shalom should also have a mitzvah Sfarim, Shlosha Sfarim Niftachim, and the Rabbanu Shalom should write all of Klal Yisrael in this different Shal Tzadikim, Amech Kulam Tzadikim. And all of us at this time, it is appropriate to mention for Rav Yaakov Yehuda ben Sarah Hechter's Rebbetzin Zal Gesundsein, this is the week of Avos Bikurim. There were those who brought Bikurim in golden baskets and straw baskets. The people who brought in golden baskets took them home. Rav Yaakov Yehuda ben Sarah and his Rebbetzin Zal Gesundsein take the golden baskets and they sacrifice them also. They are B'chol Mo'odecha Yidin in the sense of total Mesiras Nefesh. Rabbi Hecht is a 5-star general in the Tzivos Hashem following the leadership of the Rebbe. And so the Eibishter should give him and his entire mishpacha. I would like to mention also Rav Shalom Shimon Yaakov, Rabbi Baris of Tiny Tot, and also the Rabbanu Shalom should bless them, B'sachechi, all of the Chassidim of the Rebbe Zal Gesundsein, B'sachechi Shar Klal Yisrael, that the Rabbanu Shalom should be Megale, the Inyan HaMivtza Sfarim in its fullness and totality. The Rabbanu Shalom should write us all for Aksiva V'Achsima Tova, for Atov Hanira V'Hanigla, for Bani Chayim Zoni Revichi, for Shefa Bracha V'Gashmis V'Ruchnius, and of course, the greatest bracha that all of us are looking forward to with great anticipation, Teish Naz Bias Mashiach, Tovshin Mem Beis, Tovshin Mem Gimel, Teish Naz Guas Mashiach, following the leadership of the Rebbe, the Kabei Simcha Yisroel, Yilchos Muhammad Hashem V'Natzeach, leading us all back to Eretz Yisrael at the time of Bias Mashiach Tzatenu, B'mheirav Yameinu, U'Barachmim Rabim. Bakar of Mamish.
Okay. Boys, you're again blocking the girls. Men, whoever is over there. I always have to make mention of the fact that the plug that I get from Rabbi Metzger, I don't write that in his speech. This he does on his own without asking permission. I suppose he wants to get paid. That must be the reason he gives me the compliment. Okay, now we'll have the schus to listen to our Melech Basode, the Rebbe Zal Gesundsein, who is with us, Baruch Hashem, all the time. Doesn't have to wait to Chodesh El, but especially in Chodesh El, when Melech Basode, the king comes out, and we all can give our bakoshes to the Rebbe Zal Gesundsein. So the Rebbe took time out to speak to us today. I think we have an obligation to listen and listen attentively, b'derech eret, with COVID and Kinderlach. Those of you who are on the table over there, will somebody, one of the adults, those little children who are on the table, just tell them to sit down quietly and listen. And Be'ezras Hashem Yisrael, I'll try to give you a brief translation in English after the Rebbe speaks. Now your full attention to the Rebbe.
Was sich alles zusammengeklieben, in Zusammenhang damit, wie mir ruft der Sohn, als endigt sich, das Mann hat Hefel die Zeit, was mit Gewinning kämpft, und wie der ämste Zusammenkommen von Nieden, und wie fragt noch von niedische Kinder, ist ämste sei, und wie fragt noch bei spezieller Gelegenheit, ist das verbunden mit dem ewigen Smitzris, unhebendig von Teiro und Philo und Zdoko, wo der Pfarrer sich zugepasst und soll sich zusammenkleiden in Asam Nord, wo dort man darmt man zum Ewigen und dort man lernt man Shiuri Teiro jeder Tag und dort geht man Echet Zdoko in die Wochentag, wo damals ist das zugepasst, der Ort zusammen mit dem Inja, mit dem Inhalt, was man hat sich zusammengeklebt. Nur dabei muss man gleich bemerken, als jeder Eid, und befragt jeder idische Kind, ist auch Odom Eitz Hasode, vergleicht dem Teira Semes zu einem Bein, was viele, wenn gefühlt sich bei Sode, nutzt der Reis der alle Möglichkeiten und die Kirches von dem Sode, soll halten in ihm wachsen und Reis geben Peris, was hinter Peris gefunden sich Kernblach, was von den Kernblach seht man da noch ein neues Eitz-Sode, was gibt Mechet Reis neue Peris und Ad Seif Kol Hoilom, sechet jeder Eid und speziell jeder idisch Kind ist doch verstandig, als nicht richtig, aber so, dass es am Ende oder als Seifchassrischollen wollen der Halte mitten wachsen. Nur im Wachsen ist der Kirche da verschiedene Darges, endlich sich eine kleinere Darge und mit der Ruf hat man die ganze volle Kirche a vorübergehen in eine höhere Darge und wachsen noch mehr und a geben noch mehr schönere Peres mit Garinen in See, was hat a See sichert, bis endlich sich erkennt, ist das nicht schon im Ende für sich, dass sie mehr nicht wie eine Zugreitung, a Durchdruck, was man angekleiden, ruchnisdicke Kirche durch Lernen Teire und Davnen und Mekayim sein Mitzvahs. Durchdruck, was man genutzt, die Zeit, a der Guf, so der Körper soll lechet werden gesinnter und starker, gedei sein Dienen dem Ebersten soll sein noch mehr gesinnter und noch mehr starker und noch mehr lebendiger, wo das verleiht von jeder Kind, was sie gewähren die Kinder. Als sie sollen gleich unheimlich nutzen unter die Kirches, wissen die, dass nicht Chasve Scholem am Ende zu sagt, nur Adrade, das hebt sich ein Stonn an Nonheit von einer Sache größere und starkere und lebendiger und lichtiger Leben in dienen den Nebischen durch Lernen sein Teiro und mit keinem seine Mitzvahs, bis wann es an jeder Sache der Bahashgocha Protis, wie der Baal Shem Tov, hat gesagt, als in jeder Inyan darf Jid ablernen für sich, warum das nicht superliegt, dass die Bahashgocha Protis von den Nebischen allein sieht man doch, als sie doch eingeordnet, an der Ende, als sie gerufene Seid von den Camps, ist das in Chedisch Elul, wo dermal gefühlt sich der Meller, der Rebischter allein bei Sode, und man darf zu ihm zugehen und zu ihm reden und wissen, was soll sich mit ihm verbinden, wo der Fall nutzt man nicht die ungekleidene Kirche, sei Gashmisdik und sei Ruchnisdike, von dem ganzen Summe, und man geht und man tanzt gleich herein mit der Simcha, in Chedisch Elul, und man trefft dort gleich den Melech Basode, was freut sich mit euch und nicht freut sich mit wie Riteshte gesagt in der Zukunft in Maimore Chazal, a Yismach Yisroel Beiso und Yismach Hashem Bemaisol und zusammen mit Simcha, mit der ungeklebene Keches, was man nutzt das gleich Eis und das setzt man in Meiser Hua Yiker, das wird Eis genutzt in Meiser mit noch mehr Lebendigkeit und Lichtigkeit und a Simcha schon Mitzvah und mit Greizach Eichet zu dem neuen Jahr, wo sein zugerät und gesagt der ganze Chedisch Elul, Levir Steiche Teil nach Narum sich, die bald aber Hafter Levejacho Komecho, ist a Klau Godel Beteiro, wird sicher wirken in dem Geist und wie der Mond mit beneite Keches und Lebendigkeit auf dem ganzen Narum, unhebendig von einer Stub und von einer Kite in Beisa Sefer und von den Beisa Knesses, wo mit Davon und dermal gehen zusammen mit der beneite Starkheit und Lebendigkeit und Idigkeit, zusammen mit Neller Basode in ihrem Malchusse und dort in Gufe in Narmin HaMelech, in dem Palaz von dem Melech, bis wann es das Heilteiche zu, dem Inyan, Gor in einem offenen Weg, und in einer starken und einer lebendigen Weg, aber Kore Mamosh, wird hier mit jeder Ried und mit allen Jiden Schleimus zu haben, der ganze jüdische Volk, gehen zusammen mit der Teile und Mitzes, was wird angeklebt und was jeder wird angeklebt. Und speziell in der Zeit, wenn es gewähnt in die Camps, Biasa Seis und Biasa Reis, Schleimus Atero, zusammen gehen, durch Druva der Ewigkeit wird es zusammenklappen, jeder von uns und jeder von euch und jeder von dem jüdischen Volk, alle zusammen, in die Jula Hamitis war Schleim alle dem Meshiach Zitkeno und gehen zu in Eretz Yisroel, Eretz Asher Tome, den Hashem Elekecha Bo, Reishis Ashona, Vadach Rishono, und Echet Eretz Yisroel Bishlemuso. Und dort in Gufe gehen in Nil HaMelech, in Jerusalem, in Nil HaKedesh, Kirias, Melech Rov, und dort in Narmin HaMelech, in Mishken Adne, Keinen und Yodecho, und das Salz dem Heere bei Ameinu Mamesh, Gor Gish, in der Nähe von Achisheno, wo der Eberster wird noch geben, und die Simcha auf Turle Wo, und mit Ponim Seichakes und Ponim Jofes, die Bakosche und die Tfila und der Eisgeschrei, und hier wohnt Mashiach now, beim Heere bei Ameinu Mamesh.
The Rebbe spoke here about the fact that we have gotten together sort of at the time when the camp season ends. And the Rebbe says that, of course, whenever Jewish children get together is a special occasion, especially when it's tied in with the three principles, upon the three pillars upon which the world stands, the Torah and Tefillah and Tzedakah. Where is all this takes place in a place where we daven, which is here in the shul, of course, the Rebbe shul, where we have our shiurim in constant in the study of Torah, and then where also during the weekdays we give charity, we give tzedakah. So this place is very much fit for the occasion. So we said we must take note that every Jewish child is Odem Eitz HaSodeh, that we are like the trees in the field. And the tree in the field utilizes everything that is in the field. The seed to grow stronger and brighter and to give forth better fruits. And in that fruit there are kernels and also seeds from which we could plant and make new trees and grow new fruit until the end of all time. So every Jew and every Jewish child is also in that same category. There's no such thing like an end. but we are in the middle of growing. And we go from one step to the other, from one target to the other, and from the smaller to the higher to the bigger. And as we gather more strength, we go higher and we grow bigger and we grow nicer and we give forth much more beautiful fruit and we give forth new seeds. And from then we also plant and bring into new life into the world. So when the camp gathers together like on a day today, this is not an end, but rather a preparation with the strength, the spiritual kirches that we have gathered together throughout the summer months, by studying Torah in camp, by davening in camp, by doing mitzvahs. And we use the time also to get to that our bodies should become healthier and stronger. So we utilize this to serve God better, livelier. And therefore the demands on each child is that when he comes back from camp, to use the strength, not for an end, but for a beginning, for bigger and better and stronger and lighter and livelier things to serve God through Torah, through the mitzvahs. And then we know that everything is hashgacha protius, everything is by divine providence. The Baal Shem Tov says that everything that happens to an individual, it's not by accident, but there is something for us to learn from this. So here too we have a very important lesson, that this gathering comes during the month of Elul. And as you have heard from the Rebbe many times, this is the month when Melech, the Rabbeinu Shalom, is Basodeh. He's in the field. You can go over and talk to him, and you know exactly how to tie yourself close to him and become closer with him. And you use the strength that you have gotten, the physical strength and the spiritual strength, that you should be able to do what you have to do with more simcha. And as the Rebbe uses the terminology, you dance into the month of Elul, where you find the Melech Basodeh. You're right there. You just came from camp and you already got the king with you. You're already together. So you can be happy with each other and happy with the Rabbeinu Shalom is happy with us. And we are happy with him, as we just said in the Psukim, Yismach Yisroel ba'osav, Yismach Hashem b'ma'asav. And together with the simcha, with this joy with which we have come back from camp into the month of Elul, we take together the strength and we use it immediately, because hamaisa hu ho'ika. The main thing is not to talk a lot, but to do a lot. You talk less and you have to do more. And you have to see to do it with more life, with more light, and with more joy in preparation for the new year, which we all are preparing ourselves for during the month of Elul. Not only do we think about ourselves, but we said also in the Psukim, Yahavta l'reacha kamocha, loving our fellow man is just like loving ourselves. There, klal godel b'Torah. This is one of the biggest rules in Torah, which means that we also have to work on our friends, beginning with our own house, our own families, our classmates, the people in shul with whom we come together. And we have to all join forces in one, with new strength and new life. And we go together with the king to the capital city where the king returns to. And in that capital city to go to the king's palace. And speedily, and do it real fast, to open up a new road to reach out to that place. And we should do this with a strength and liveliness very speedily in our days. We and all together, or with all the Jews wherever they are. How do we go? We take the Torah mitzvahs that we gather together, especially in the camp, which made it Shleimus HaTorah, a complete Torah. Not pieces, but a complete Torah. And we gather together, all of us together as a Jewish nation, to bring about the Geula Amitis, the true redemption, through Mashiach Tzidkenu. And with him, we're going to go where? To Eretz Yisroel, where Tomei Deini Hashem Elokecha bo Mereshis Hashon v'Adach Hashon. God watches Eretz Yisroel constantly, where Eretz Yisroel will be a complete city, a complete country. And there in Eretz Yisrael, we're going to go to the capital of Yerushalayim, Mirakevis, the holy city of Yerushalayim, which is the capital of the king. And there we're going to go to the palace, which is in Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh, which is Mikdash Adne Kainenu Yadecha, the Beis HaMikdash, a holy temple which the Rabbeinu Shalom has prepared. And this will come very, very speedily, very fast. We haven't got time. It's going to be Achishena. We're going to rush it up. It should go a lot quicker. And God is going to see to it that the Mashiach is going to come and get us out of Golus real speedily. And this is all going to be done because the Rabbeinu Shalom will listen to us, and he will act with us with simcha, with joy, and with show us a smiling face. And that when we say that we want Mashiach now, it's going to be now, real speedily in our days.
Sie sich do an Anweisung leiden Balschentes Wort. In Chedesh Elul Gufi ist do mehrere Tag, wo das ist speziell in heimtigen Tag, wo demult sich leiden alten Rebbeswort, lebt man mit der Zeit, aber man lebt über und ordnet sich ein dem eigenen Leben, leiden Anweisungen von der Sedre von der Woche, und in der Sedre Gufe, von der Teil von der Sedre, was gehört zu dem Tag, zu Dienstag vom Parsche, ki Sovei, was in die alle Sachen, dort, wie gesagt, an Anweisung, für jeden von uns und für jeden von euch, bis in der Meise Hura Jike, und eben vieles ist auch Eisweisen, dass schwer zu der Griechen, hat man so den Zusag von Teras Emes, als ja geht Matzos Taimi, wie wird erst gesagt, als wird nur selben mit einem Emes, wird die Ton, was hängt auf und nach, wird die Dosiche der Griechen und der Anweisungen und der Ablernungen von der Sedre im Allgemeinen ist, wo sie wird sich angerufen Tove, und wie im Postig sagt der Tove, der Arangen innewene, geht das Arangen in Eretz Yisroel und in Asami Neifen von wer schafft wer schafft bo mit nimmt das auf ewig und mit besetzt das in nie, was Eretz Yisroel wie der Mond friert, ist das ein Land, wo dort setzt man Göttlichkeit, mehr noch, wie man setzt es in der ganzen Welt, Mereishis Hashono, Vad Achri Shono, was sie noch sein, die in Chutzlores, wo Jid gefindt sich, und ein sein Leben, wie gesagt, früher, aber das wird an Eretz Yisroel, sein Huis und sein Beis Sefer und allein, setzt dort von ein Hashem Elekechabo, Mereishis Hashono, Vad Achri Shono, und das tut man in der Nähe von Yerishto, wie Schaftobo, aber das wird eine gejagte Sache, wie der Testo gesagt, Teira Zivo Lono Meshe Mirosho, Kehilas Yanki bei jedem von euch, bei jedem von dem jüdischen Volk, und in der Jerusche, wie Schaftobo, besetzt man sich in ihr, aber das wird der Tag tägliche, his Yashvus und tagtäglichen Leben in einem Leben, als soll sich ansehen, dass ein Hashem Elekechabo in der Parsche Gufe in dem dritten Heilig von ihr, von Schlishi, erzählt mir nechet, als Hashem Mirsko und als Hashem Marto, wo der Teitchen der Muis, wie auch gezeigt in der Drosche, an der Rebeste und in Gemorre, an der Rebeste hat Teis geklieben und sich mit Speyer bringt sich, mit jeder Rieden, was Hashem Marto, Chativo, Achos Boebam, wie ihre Töchter gesagt, Neitzer Matoi, Meister Jodeli Spoiri, dass jeder Kol Israel, Und der Iden, seinen Herr Martha, Herr Martha, der Iden, kleiden meist den Nebesten, a sehr melech und sehr unführer, was 40 Jahre, wie gesagt, früher, Reish ist a Schoner, a Dacher ist Schoner, und sie folgen noch. Seine Anweisungen waren es Hashem Herr Martlom hat gemacht durch Lernentehrer. Jeder Ewigste noch einmal von das Neikirches auf Lernentehrer und Mekayim sein die Tehrer. Wo das ist die Anweisung auf jeder Tag von einem ganzen Jahr. Sondern dort die spezielle Anweisungen im heutigen Tag, in jedem schließlichen Hochfall bei Kitel, aber soll das einwirken in dem Sinn, Zeile Schamayim und Zeile Bries auf sich allein in alle ruchnische Sachen und nechet auf der alle Menschen, sich, als sie sollen sein Hashem Herr Martha, wird das werden Hashem Herr Mincha, aber bringt sich mit dem Ewigsten und der Ewigste bringt sich mit jeder Iden und mit allen Iden und das wird die passende Zugreitung, wie der Mond früher a Chedisch Elul, ist doch eine Zugreitung zu dem Chedisch, was kommt nachher im Chedisch Tischrei. Es ist Reish hat der Onyx von Tischrei, weil das ist der Tag von Reish Hashanah. A demot nennt man auf sich den Malchus von der Melech Basode mit der beneite Lebendigkeit und Lichtigkeit. Die Schaße kommt Reish Hashanah Malchusei berot in Kibla Alehem, wo der Fall sagt mir sich, als wenn der Ike von Hashem Herr Martha, Hashem Herr Mincha, ist das Reish Hashanah. Der Ewigste will sich, dass jeder soll dazugreifen sich dazu, auf einen passenden Essen, hat gegeben, jede Schelle auf den Zugreifen sich dazu. Und gefindt sich damals Basode zusammen mit jeder Iden und alle Iden auf helfen sie in der Zugreitung zu Hashem Herr Martha. Und es macht dass wir sicher sein, dass Hashem Herr Mincha und am meisten hohe Jiker, du was ihr und jeder Id und alle Iden zusammen, sollen essen nutzen die Tag von Chedisch Elul, Besimcha und Betur Levo und mit Avas Yisroel, a vereinzigen Sache mit jeder Iden und mit alle Iden. Durch Lernen Teiro haben Anossen Teiro und durch Mekayim sein Mitzvahs, wo demut wird man doch geish echad, beleid echad, was bishasi kulonu ko echad, is a demut barcheina vinu, be'ed ponecho, noch in Chedisch Elul, wo demut is ach wie der alte Rebbe sagt, keil havai vayoyer lonu, wenn der Melech noch Basode, und man hat ein lichtigen Chedisch Elul, mit der lichtige Ksive Wachsimo Teiro noch ein Chedisch Elul. Und man geht zusammen, kreinen dem Ebersten, es Hashem Herr Martha, Bereish Hashanah, und Malchusei berotz in Kibla Alehem, und Besimcha auf Tuv Levo.
The Rebbe points out there's another hero from the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh on Chodesh Elul. And as we know, today's day is a special day of the many days in the Chodesh Elul. And today's day, as the Alter Rebbe tells us, that you have to live with the times, which means you have to live with the Seder of the week. And the Rebbe gave a very important point over here, that you have to set up your life according to the portion of that week. This is a new nekudah, to be mesada your life according to the parsha of the week. So the Rebbe says here that on today's, in Parshas Kisovai, there is for each and every one of us a special lesson that we could learn for ourselves and for everyone else. And as we know, of course, that these lessons have to bring to the Maisa, to the actual accomplishments, which is the most important. We understand that when we take a look and we see what a big job we have before ourselves, we think that it's difficult to be able to accomplish all of this. But we have a promise from the Rabbeinu Shalom that Yagaitim Etzosa time, and as we said before in the Psukim, that where we will do with truth and with sincerity, we'll be able to reach those goals which we have set for ourselves. And that's the Heirod, that's the lesson from the Seder of the week. It's called Kisovai. Sovai means to go into. You go into Eretz Yisroel. How do you go into there? In a way in which you settle in it and you become part of it and you conquer it. For always, to eternity, never, never to give it up. And you sit in Eretz Yisroel, in the land where the Rabbeinu Shalom is constantly there, and where you see, in that land in Eretz Yisroel, you see Elokus, you see godliness, more than any other place in the entire world, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. But we have to see to it that while we are yet in Chutz La'aretz, we are outside the boundaries of Eretz Yisroel. We have to set up our life in such a way that our house should become an Eretz Yisroel. Our schoolroom, our yeshiva classroom should become an Eretz Yisroel. We ourselves should become part of Eretz Yisroel. And in Eretz Yisroel, so the eyes of Hashem Yisroel are constantly there, from the beginning until the end. And this will bring about v'yorashta v'yoshavta bo, that we will conquer it, and we will be able to sit in there, and we will be fixed there and anchored in there. As we said before a few moments ago, Torah tziva lonu Moshe, Meirosha Kehilas Yankiv, the Torah, which was given to us, this has been an inheritance to each and every one of us, by each of us and by Klal Yisroel. This has become an inheritance to us, and through this we will come to have that the real Yerusha, the Yoshavtabo, to be able to sit and live and be part of Eretz Yisroel. And this is the way we do this, by settling our own lives and making our lives to be such a way that the Rabbeinu Shalom should have his eyes upon us just as he has in Eretz Yisroel. Because if we, our house, our yeshiva classroom, wherever we are, become an Eretz Yisroel, so just like the Eibishter has his eyes in Eretz Yisroel, so he's going to have his eyes on us and on everything that we do and so on. So in this third parsha, there are two expressions, Hashem Ha'mircha and Hashem Ha'amauta. And the translation to that, as brought in the Medrashim and in the Gemara, that God chose us to be his nation, and he shows off with us. The Rabbeinu Shalom is proud with each and every single Jew. And he has cut us out as his part. This is his, from this world of ours. As we said before, Neitha Matoy, Maaseh Yoda Yisrael, and that goes on Kol Yisrael, that every Jew is a part of the Rabbeinu Shalom's plantation. This is the Rabbeinu Shalom's own personal property, which is very, very close to him, and the Rabbeinu Shalom is very proud of this. We, on the other hand, Pe'amalta, we have chosen the Rabbeinu Shalom. He is our king. He is our leader. He is our manig. He is from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. How do we do this? By listening to the Rabbeinu Shalom, by listening to what God tells us to do, as Hashem Ha'amauta, through learning Torah, by taking the keiches that we have gotten in camp, and to fulfill the mitzvahs that we have to do every single day. So this is what we are taught from the Seder of the week, the Parsha Shlishi, which is on this day has to be taught, and this has to be Masada, our life, that we are the ones who Hashem Ha'amauta, that we have chosen the Rabbeinu Shalom. This is the day that the Yom Gimel, Yom Shehuchbel by Kitov, it says twice Kitov by the third day. Tov la Shamayim and Tov la Brias, the Rebbe has spoken about this many times. This is good for heavenly things, and this is a day which is good for earthly and physical things in the spiritual sense. And this is a day in which we have to translate the Hashem Ha'amauta, that we have chosen the Rabbeinu Shalom. We are happy with the Rabbeinu Shalom. In return, the Rabbeinu Shalom will say, Hashem Ha'mircha. The Rabbeinu Shalom will choose us and will show off with us and will be proud of us. And how does this become? Through the proper preparation of Chodesh Elul. We prepare for the Chodesh Elul for the month of Tishrei, which is the Oisius of Resh, is the beginning. What is the beginning of Chodesh Tishrei? The word is Rosh Hashanah. What happens on Rosh Hashanah? This is the time when we crown the king. We anoint the king. On Rosh Hashanah, we take the Melech Basodeh, and we take with new life and new chiyus and new light, that we take it upon ourselves with a great wish and a great happiness and great joy, that we chose the Rabbeinu Shalom, and the Rabbeinu Shalom chooses us. And God wants us that we should prepare ourselves properly on Chodesh Elul. And when he is Basodeh, he's together with us. He's working with us to help us accomplish that which we set out to do in the preparation for a Tishrei, for the day of Rosh Hashanah. Hashem Malta is what we have to do to show that we are devoted to Hashem Yisborach through the Torah and Kiyam HaMitzvahs. And the Rabbeinu Shalom will promise us that Hashem HaMilcha, he'll take us and choose us to be his kindalach, his children. He will choose us to be the ones with whom he will be proud. And so each and every one of us, says the Rebbe, and every Jew throughout the world should utilize the month of Elul with a tremendous amount of joy and gladness of heart, and to see to it, to utilize the Avas Yisroel, the love for our fellow Jew, to unite all the Jews together through the Oisius HaTorah, by see to inscribing them in the Sefer Torah, by buying letters for them. And this will become, we will all become as one body, one person, one heart. And when we're going to be Kulona Ke'echad, when we'll all be united in one, then it's going to be Ba'cheinu Avinu Ba'er Panecha. The Rabbeinu Shalom, taking a look that we're all one, the Rabbeinu Shalom will bless us in the light of his face. And it's Keil Hashem V'yoel Lonu. On this, the Alter Rebbe says, on this posik, Melech, this is the Melech Basodeh, that the Rabbeinu Shalom is together with us, that we'll have a light, a lichtik in Chodesh Elul, and the Rebbe uses the term a lichtik ksiva v'achsim eteva in the Chodesh Elul, and together we will crown the Rabbeinu Shalom, the Melech al Kol Ha'olam, through the fact that Hashem Ha'amalta, we have chosen the Rabbeinu Shalom on the day of Rosh Hashanah, when we say U'malchusai berotzain kiblu aleim, that we have accepted the malchus of Hashem Yisborach with love and with joy.
Das allemal wird verlangt von Aiden, aber Schaßer macht a flotte Teva, a guten Beschluss, wissendig als Meister Huhoike, soll beweisen, als ist a Zoris und hebt gleich Chon, Likaim sein seine Achlottes Bepeil oder Pfarrer Seche zugepasst, aber es soll zu Mamschir sein, dem Zusammenkleiden sagt, in Zusammenhang mit eben der Monte Achlottes, was Limud der Tere sich schon gewähnt durch die Sorgen der Beis, Psukim und Maimore Chazal, der Kirche gewähnt der Linie nach Tfilo und gedammt Mincha zusammen, werden das noch einmal überchasen, durch den Ruf, und was mit Sorgen und Besimcho Tuvli wohl, a Linie von Teiro, wie der Mond früher dem Posuk von 8 Tzadikim, jeder Schmecho, Jeshu Yishorim, es Ponecho, mit alle zusammen singen die Tfilo von Yehi Rotzein, Shibone Beis Amigdosh B'Meheira B'Yameinu, mit Eicheton Amaise Bepeil, geben auf Zdoke und mit das Vernandrestellen wie der Pizza zu jeder in 2 Matbeis auf eine von sie noch abgeben mit Zdoke in als a Hemmscher zu dem Zusammenkleiden Sach und sehe a passende Sach, wie gerät einmal, als sehr a gute Sach und sehr a wichtige Sach, a jeder von euch, sei Engelach und sei Mädelach, soll haben an eigenen Sieder, von welchen wird davenen wenigstens von Zeit zu Zeit und wird dann hieten, wissendig, dass sein Sieder zusammen damit zu haben an eigenes Dockepuschke, wo das ist noch mehr der Monnen abzugeben auf Zdocke, leid seine Näglichkeiten und in Sider ist Heche da, in Joni von Teiro, Echet in dem Davnen allein der Linie von Krishna, unlebendig von Shema Yisroel, Havaya, Lekeina, Havaya, Chod, was hier wird erst gesagt, in der Beis Psukim und Maimore Chazal und Echet, wird zugepasst speziell zu heutigen Jahr, was hebt so schon mit der Shabbos, wo Shabbos ist noch mehr heiliger, wie Yom Tevium von alle Tag, ist sicher der Miet, was mit Hoffen als Dockepuschke, den wird sehen, allein sein und alle dem sehen, a jeder Tag blieb der Wasser rein dahin zu Zdocke. Und in Schabbosdicken Tag ist mit keinem dem Mosok von bei jedem Schwier Tischbeis, als riecht das mit Ton und sicher Wasser dahinter nicht rein, ins Docke, wo handelt mit der halbgonnischen Geld, wird das noch mehr mäßig sein. In den Gedushas Shabbos, durch die Ruhe, was hat als Dockepuschke, und bei Shabbos kommt der Tag von Shabbos, nutzt das nicht. Und der Pfarrer sagt, Kidai als Berlin Neder, soll jeder von euch, von den Kindern, und als sie einwirken auf die Chaverim, als in den Tag von Chede Shelo, und bis noch ein Scheiner Rabbe, selbstverständlich akkus der Tag von Shabbos und Jonte von Reish Hashana und Yom Kippurim soll man hereinwerfen Berlin Neder, wenigstens ein Cent oder ein Prute oder in der jeder leid sein Medine in der Zdocke-Puschke und schön der guter Beschluss in der, wird sicher angenommen werden bei den Nebesten, als doch ist doch eine Kareves es Hagiulo, auf noch mehr Zuheil und Hermese Giulo durch Mashiach Zitkenu. Und als das sehe der Sach Hakel, der Hero und der Bakosche von Berlin Neder auf Zuton Befehl, auf Ichter Messiaen sein mit noch ein Linien in Teiro und noch ein Linien von Tfilo und der Linie von Zdoko und welche Sachen mit Stadl sein. Aber die, was haben noch nicht den eigenen Sieder und eine eigene Zdocke-Puschke von den Kindern, sollen das verschaffen sich und Berlin Neder in die Tag von Elul bis in Scheine Rabbe und sicher in Scheine Rabbe allein geben in der Puschke wenigstens ein Brute, ein Matbea aufs Zdocke. Und wie gesagt, früher, der gute Beschluss in der, was mit Anheben der mit noch Itzter bleibt, die Mine, was mit noch dem Nigunim, wird mir nechet gern auf Zdoko, mit schöner reinwerfen, einmal Dehe, abgeben auf Zdoko, soll das sein, a gute Haschole, als noch die Kirche, was man zusammengeklebt, bemerkt von dem Sonne, soll man mit einer vergrößerten Starkheit und Lebendigkeit und Lichtigkeit zugeben in die Sachen von Teira, Vedu, Gnilas Chasodim, von Lernen, Teira und Davnen und mit keinem sein Mitzvahs unendig von der Mitzvah Zdoko und das wird Peil sein, als es sein Hoelam Emed und Hoelam Kayim, das wird hereinbringen, a Starkheit an die Welt wird sich aufhören schocklen sagt, worin sie wird sich honnehmen finden, wie der Ewigster will, aber das ist die Zugreitung zu der Sache Nelam, der Malchus hin Dalet Jud durch Mashiach Zitkenu Und nach demut wird täglich sein in dem Elam Kotten bei jedem in sein Leben, wird zukommen noch mehr in dem Eibischten Broches und mit alle zusammen wie der Mond früher geräten sagt und schön klar bekommen, der Xiva Bachsimo Tevo, Leshono Tevo Mesucho, Beteva Anire Vahanigle, Omen Keidi Hi Rotzen.
All right, now, the point is that the Rebbe says that every time you hear someone make a good resolution, you want to bring it down to life. You want to see to it to become an actuality. This shows how quick a Jew reacts to what he has to do. If you start immediately, as you say and as you make your resolution, if you go right to it and you put it into action, then you understand that you have done the job right. So therefore, it's fitting that we should sort of make an extension. And from this gathering, we are here today and making these wonderful resolutions that after we have studied Torah, as we said the Psukim, after we have davened Mincha together, and we have said everything with joy, and we've said it with a good heart, so says the Rebbe, now we should add, again in Limud HaTorah, we should say a posik of Torah, which will be Ach Tzadikim Yodu L'Shmecha, Yesh V'Yisharem Es Panecha. We should sing the Tefillah of Yerotzin Sheyabona Beis Hamikdash B'Mehera V'Yameinu. This will be in the place of davening. And then also the third thing, which will be the actual action that we're going to do, that is the giving of charity. So we're going to be getting from the Rebbe Zal Gesundheit 2 dimes, 1 dime, which should be given immediately for tzedakah, and the other, which is, of course, the carryover from today's gathering, from today's rally. And then the other one, we have a right to do with it whatever we want. And the Rebbe says that it's fitting also, this is very important. It's very, the Rebbe says it's fitting. He has already spoken about this one, that every boy and girl should have their own siddur from which they should daven from, at least from time to time, and they should watch it to be sure that it's kept nicely. Also, that each boy and girl should have their own charity box, their own coin box, their own pushke, which will remind them that they have to give tzedakah. And in the siddur, there are also parts of Torah. Besides the davening, you also have parts of Torah. As we said before, you have Kriya Shema, Shema Yisroel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, which we've just recited in the Yud Beis Psukim. So, by having your own pushke, and especially this year, that the first day of Yontif comes out on Shabbos, and Shabbos is holier than all the days of the week and all the Yomim Tovim. If we're going to have a charity box of our own, and every other day of the week when it's not Shabbos and Yontif, we put in money. And on Shabbos, we don't put in money. So that's going to show that we observe the Kedushas HaShabbos. And this will show us that we are adding in the Kedusha of the Shabbos today, that in spite of the fact, let alone the fact that we don't handle any money on Shabbos. Everybody knows you're not allowed to handle any money on Shabbos. But besides that, we're not even going to give a charity in the charity box on Shabbos because of the Kedushas HaShabbos. So, it's kedai, it's fitting that B'li Neder, each child, and also to see to it that your friends, boys and girls, should do the same. That in the days of Elul, here's another thing. First, you should have your own siddur and your own coin box. Now comes the second thing that the Rebbe asks of us. That every day, from Elul until Hoshana Rabbah, with the exception, of course, of Shabbos and Yontiv, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, with the exception of those days, we should put in every day in our own personal coin box a penny or more, according to each one. If you're richer, you got more money, you can put in more. You don't have to stick to a penny. That's only for those who don't have so many pennies. You can put a nickel, a dime, a quarter, whatever you could afford to give away. It's according to how much allowance you get from your parents. We're not limiting it to a penny. And when we're going to make this good resolution, and the Rabbeinu Shalom is going to see that we're living up to it, and we know that it says that through charity, we're going to bring quickly the Geula Shleima Yedei Mashiach Tzidkenu. So when the Rabbeinu Shalom looks and sees that we have our own pushka, and in our own pushka we put the money every single day except Shabbos for Yontiv, so we give tzedakah. So the Rabbeinu Shalom is going to speed up the true Geula Shleima, the true redemption through Mashiach Tzidkenu. And the Rebbe reiterated again and said again that this is the lesson of today. This is his request of the day. Did you hear that? The lesson of the day and the request of the day. In order we should add and fulfill in those matters of Torah and Tefillah and Tzedakah. And we should see to it to get our own siddur and have our own charity box, as we mentioned before. And through the month, the days are remaining yet in Elul. Until Hoshana Rabbah, I'm just repeating what the Rebbe said a second time because it's so very important for us to know this and remember this. That we should give from now on until Hoshana Rabbah, with the exception of Shabbos and Yontif, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, each day to put in the coins in the coin box, and through beginning with that resolution right now, because the Rebbe Zolgazunstein is going to be giving the head counselors the money to distribute for all the campers from both camps, so we can immediately take our money and start giving it for tzedakah. And this will be after the nigunim that will be sung, and right after that we'll give the tzedakah, and with the koiches, with the strength that we gathered throughout the summer months, which this will help us, that we should be able to serve Hashem Yisborach with more strength and more life and more light in the study of Torah and in the davening and in the doing of mitzvahs. And we know that b'schus of the tzedakah, ha'olam kayim, so the Rebbe said that the world will stop wobbling. You know, everybody knows that the world is shaking. When the Rebbe came out with it originally, they weren't so smart to understand what he's saying. Now everybody already agrees that this world is shoklinzach. You know what means shoklinzach? You ever see a chair that shakes, that's almost ready to topple? That's what it means shoklinzach. So through the tzedakah that you little kindlech are going to give, you're going to straighten this world out. And you're going to make that this world should be able to stand and should be and stop shaking. And stop being that kind of a place where it's a little bit, not so steady. And when we'll start doing this, we'll be preparing the world, L'saki Neulam Amalchus Shin Daled Yud, that we'll prepare the world, that everybody should recognize there's a Rabbeinu Shalom in the world, and that will that'll speed up the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu, and we ourselves in our own little world in which we live, that we too will also be able to live up to this and be zeichet to the Geula. And this will add the Rabbeinu Shalom's brachos that will prepare us with a ksiva v'achsima teva l'shana teva u'mesuka to a good year and a sweet year. B'toiv ha'nira v'ha'nigla, in all the good that each and every one of us could see and recognize and feel and have. And the Rebbe finished with the words of Amen Ken Yehi Rotzon. Before we start singing the Nagunim, I failed the last time. I was a little tzimish the last time myself by the last rally. I take the opportunity always, since we are tied in now with all the kinderlach throughout the world, I want to take this opportunity to, all of us should wish the Rebbe Zol Gesundsein, that just as we are together with him, Melech Basodeh, we should be zeicher through Aksiva V'Achsima Teva to go together with him to the palace of the Melech, which is the Binyan Beis HaMikdash Bekorev Bebias Moshiach Tzidkenu Bepoel Mamish. No more monkey business. Bepoel Mamish. Now, the Amen Ken Yehi Rotzon.
Hashem Eloheinu ve'Eloheinu Havoyesenu Sheyibone Beit Amin
Two head counselors from Emunah come forward. Will everybody back up so that the girls can get through? They have to come up to the Rebbe to get the money for the children. Please step aside. And also the head counselors of Camp Gan Yisroel. Please step aside so the girls could come through. Hurry up. Tiny Tots also. Tiny Tots, let's go. Go together. You'll walk together as a group. You don't take it. One of you will take it. Wait. Let the girls get it and let them go back. Just stay. Keep that aisle open, will you please? Here, over here. Go back the same way you came. Back the same way. Now, if you have extra dimes, you return them. If you're short, you'll be able to get more in the office to distribute. The Rebbe's coming out. Please keep that aisle open. Quiet now.
והכסיבה וכסימו טבע לשונו טבע ומסוכו בטבע הנילה והניגלה ובקורב ממוש גאולה האמיתית והשלמה על ידי משיח צדקנו.
Amen.